So let's talk about the lunar eclipse. First, let's break down what a lunar eclipse is. A lunar eclipse is when the sun is opposite the moon, but the moon is conjunct or conjoining the south node. So the earth is in between the sun and the moon. Excuse me, y'all. And let's take a look at the dynamic between the sun and the moon in this case. We have sun in Aries right now, and the sun is exalted. And the sun just very recently came to benefit from the fact that Mars is no longer in Aquarius, because anything in the sign of Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars was in Aquarius, and by the transitive properties of you know, essential dignity, Sun in Aries ruled by a Mars in Aquarius, that's not too good for the sun because Aquarius is to the Mars detriment, is to the detriment of the sun. So now we have a sun that's exalted. It feels invited to assert its ego and authority, which in some cases is a very good thing. However, there comes the matter of balancing the ego with how do I integrate my ego and my assertiveness with a desire for peace and harmony among other people. And surprisingly, that is doable because sometimes you have to be assertive in order to get peace. Sometimes you have to let people know what you are capable of doing to inspire harmony from others. And I'm not saying that from a malicious perspective, but sometimes when you show people that you are an effective leader, that you it will draw people to you. It will give people the desire to actually pay attention to you. So, first we have Aries risings. Aries risings, this is going to happen on your first house, seventh house axis. So, this transit is going to bring you the desire for harmony in your seventh house of one on one interpersonal relationships. It can also create aspersive enemies, meaning enemies that like to talk noise about you behind your back. They may not say something to your face. That's the dark side of Libra. Like they might smile in your face and look good to you and be like, "Oh, I'm your friend" and all of that. But really and truly, I'm not saying all Libras are like that. I'm not saying all Libra risings, moon, Venus, anything. But I am saying that as an archetype, that's a dark side of Libra. And you're having to balance now. How do I assert my personality? Because, the sun is in the first house of one's personality and appearance. How do I assert my capability, my authority, and say, I know what I'm talking about, and integrate that with my desire to have harmonious relationships among other people? You could have other people in your life right now who don't respect you, or they might be doing things in a way that's bothering you, and you feel like if you go and talk to them about that, it's going to start like an argument. That's one of the challenges. Those are some of the challenges that can arise for Aries risings. I'll be right back, y'all. You ever just sit down and try to do a video and suddenly everything else but the video needs your attention? That's where I'm at right now. All right, I am back. So, all right, now let's talk about Taurus rising people. If I can find the thing, I swear sometimes you sit down and you try to do a video and it's like, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I need a little bit of everything right now. Okay, so, and also before we begin talking about the Taurus risings, I just want to say also that from a Placidian perspective, for the Aries individuals, this may also take place on your 12th house, 6th house axis for some of you Arieses. So that can indicate for some Aries risings a feeling like being unseen or unheard, and this eclipse can be more work oriented than it can be for other people. Like for some of you Aries people, it's gonna be like, well, this is, this part you hold on. For some Aries people, it's going to be more work related. For other people, it's just going to be your interpersonal relationships in general. Now, let's talk about the Taurians. All right, Taurus people, Taurus risings. So, this particular eclipse is, by both accounts, going to take place in your 12th house, 6th house axis. So, one additional thing about the 12-6 house axis is that it is the axis of chores, meaning that when you have to deal with the things associated with these houses, it usually feels like you're having to get a whole lot of work done or you're having to do a whole bunch of stuff, but none of it seems to be paying you any money or getting you anywhere directly. And that's kind of the funny thing about the cadent houses, that when you have to deal with the cadent houses, um, it always seems like it's a lot of busy work, like a lot of stuff that's detours around the mountain versus a tunnel right through it. Oh, I gotta change the sign. I gotta change the sign. No, I gotta change the sign. Open it up. Taurus rising. Yay, Taurus. Yeah. Yeah. So the 6th house is the house of one's physical health and the maladies one experiences physically. And the 12th house is the house of maladies that one experiences mentally. Now, one of the things about the 12th house, if I could talk about that for a moment, is that it's a house where even though it is above the horizon, thus making it a house of visibility, the main thing that's visible about the 12th house, or the main thing that's notable, observable about the 12th house, is absence. If a person is in a hospital or if they are in a prison, an asylum, something like that, the public kind of sort of knows where you are, but where you are is more about where you ain't, if you understand what I'm saying about that. So during this time, my Taurus risings, you can feel like you just want some harmony in your workplaces, or you just want some harmony within yourself. A lot of stress or anxiety. You can feel like, oh, my identity, my ego, my authority, they're unheard, they're unseen, they are not being respected by other people. You may feel like you have to swallow your own pride or swallow, you know, you may feel like certain things, right? But you have to go along to get along in the workplace. Y'all let me know down there in the comments, my Taurus rising people who watch this, if that's something that you having to experience at this time. And you can also experience having moon in Libra in the 6th house can cause a person to ignore their own emotions, especially since this moon in Libra is ruled by a Venus in Pisces. So there can be boundary issues when it comes to certain things, it's funny, the moon and Venus are almost forming an exact anti-Sia right now, which would indicate harmony, but those are two fast moving planets and they're separating. So these are the things you got to be careful about, dealing with matters of emotional boundaries, especially when it comes to your work and your chores. Like if you have family, you might feel like, oh my gosh, my family is just a trip. They keep on making chores for me and they don't even care about how good I am at taking care of their chores. But I bet you if I stop doing them chores, they'll see, they'll appreciate me. You know what I'm saying, Taurus risings? You might be feeling some of that right now. Or you might be feeling like you're the one who's carrying your whole job. Like your coworkers aren't able to uh do the kind of work that you do, or they don't know how to do the work the way you do, but you ain't the one getting credit for it. So, having anything on the 612 axis is just a huge challenge, honestly. uh, Even if it's Mars or Saturn, which find planetary joy in the sixth and the 12th, respectfully, it can be a real challenge. So, I'm not gonna say that this eclipse is gonna be some magical transformative experience. It can be a same as it ever was experience for some of y'all, and for others of you, it can be the introduction of new detours. But you gotta understand that detours don't last forever. They are if detours were permanent, that would be called the journey, not a detour. So I hope that helps. So let's move on to our Gemini risings. All right, Gemini rising people, let's see what we got for you. So Gemini risings, this is going to be on your 5th axis, 11th axis. Ooh, that moon in 5th in Libra. Y'all got to be careful about making some bad decisions with some old lovers, Remember, everybody, this moon is conjunct the South Node. You got to be real careful about that. Because South Node, old habits die hard when it comes to that South Node, that familiarity pulling you back in. And this is a desire for harmony and fairy tale like stuff when it comes to your personal recreation of the physical variety, your kids, your fun having, you know what I'm saying? But you have Sun and Aries in 11th house. So at this time, this could actually be a boost to your sociability that can help you find the kind of person who you might actually want to get with to entertain them 5th house desires. And remember, the 11th house is the house of goals achieved and pleasures of the mind as well. So this could be a real opportunity for you to shine as a leader, as a unifier, as an initiator among your friend groups. And quite possibly find somebody among that friend group who you might want to get with. Just be careful about them. There's really not that much to, oh my goodness, I keep doing it. Keep doing it. Gemini. Oops. But yeah, though, just to recap, Sun in 11th house, 11th house of goals achieved, uh, intersocial relationships, like, your multiplayer relationships with people. Opposite this moon in Libra in the 5th house. The good news, though, for you Gemini risings and for you Taurus risings is that this is a separating opposition here, and the moon is not making an exact aspect, particularly with either the lunar nodes or the sun. So you may not, if you're feeling troubles, they may not be as strong as they could be because these aspects are not exact and one's separating and one's yet to come. So keep that in mind, and we're gonna move on. Yo, disregard that. I just reinstalled Streamlabs recently because my computer broke down and I had to do a whole bunch of mess and stuff, and nothing's working as it's supposed to work. So I'm having the time of my life over here. Everything's just wonderful and amazing. So we're gonna move on to Cancer right quick. Come on, Cancer, come on down. Cancerians. Now, The Cancer Capricorn axis is the one that's furthest away from all of this. So they're going to be the people who are, at least in my opinion, it's a bit of a balance. On the one hand, the aspects will be at their least precise when they happen, but also Cancer rising people, this is going to be on your 10-4 axis. So on the one hand, there's desire for harmony in the house, but on the other hand, there's a desire to pull ahead in your career and gain independence in your career. So if some of y'all out there are married, if you're Cancer risings and you're married or you have children, you may feel like it's a struggle to balance your work-life balance at this time. You might feel like, I'm tired of watching these kids. I'm tired of being a stay-at-home spouse. I want to go out there and make my mark. I want people to understand that I know what I'm talking about and respect me for it. Straight, simple, to the point about y'all Cancerians. There's not really any more messages there, at least about the eclipse itself, at the very least. And you know, Moon and Libra in the 4th house can also indicate a private need for harmony, like a feeling of trying to keep your emotions to yourself and put on a brave face to the world, because the 4th house is like literally the bottom of the sky, so it's completely hidden from view. And so you could feel like, oh, I'm trying to hide my emotions from view for the sake of everybody else to put on a brave face. That's what I have for y'all. Doing it. It keeps doing it, and I have no control over it, because I'm literally over here and it's over there, and it just won't stop. And I really don't want to remove it, because stuff happens if I remove it. But we're gonna go to Leo. How about that? We're gonna go to Leo. Yeah, Leo people. So Leo people, how's it, Leo, man? Leo risings. I'm a Leo sun personally. I'm gonna leave Leo risings. Y'all be having good hair. I know y'all about that hair now. So Leo rising people, this is your 9th house versus your 3rd house, your outer mind versus your inner mind. Do bear in mind that the sun finds planetary joy in the 9th and the moon finds planetary joy in the 3rd. What that means is these are settings in which the moon and the sun are very comfortable. I'm not going to go into too many details about why, but let's just say that they are very comfortable there. So during this time, especially if you are a Leo rising and you are like a psychology major or a sociology major, or you are doing any sort of studies of the mind whatsoever, it's a time when you desire an innate understanding that empowers your ability to promote harmony in your surroundings. And this might be a time where you go and explore other cultures, or look or try to explore things from other people's point of view, so that you can internalize things that help you get that kind of harmony that you're looking for, because you're going out and you're exploring, you're trying to figure out what it is, you know, because the 9th house has strong significations with higher learning, philosophy, connection to God, all manner of things like that. And the 3rd house has connections with the siblings, the inner mind, the immediate environment. That's a funny one to think about, isn't it? How our immediate mind, how our inner mind can relate to those things. I've heard people say that our inner thoughts influence our surroundings, and I say your mileage will vary to that, because like, what do you say to somebody who, you know, is in a bad environment despite how cheerful they try to keep themselves and no fault of their own? You know, there's more to it than that, is what I'm getting at. But yeah, you know, just to put a fine point in it, outer mind versus inner mind, early education versus late education, philosophy versus the basics. So that's what I have for you, Leo risings. Why don't we go ahead and go on to Virgo rising? Virgos, where you at? I am sorry for this absolute mess. I know y'all Virgo people do not like it messy, but hey, I'm doing the best I can out here, Virgo people. So let's put you some together. That is not a Virgo chart. I don't know what I don't know why would you come over here? Like, I'm trying to animate the chart, it pulls up the whole thing elsewhere. Like, can you don't? And no, we're gonna step by an hour. Trying to do this all in one shot in the game, acting a fool. The computer. Anyway, excuse me. Virgo risings. Second house, eighth house axis. So you might desire nice things, right? Moon in Libra, second house. Libra is all about the pretty, pretty, shiny, shiny. Um, and you might pride yourself in your ability for harmony as well, because it's not Libra isn't strictly about aesthetics. It is about justice and harmony as well, you know. And with your sun in the eighth house in Aries, you may have to take certain initiatives and from that position promote the kind of harmony that you are looking for, because sun in eighth house, that is the sun sign of a manager, because the eighth house is the house of money that one gains or loses of no fault of their own. It's also other people's money, you know, death, sex, taxes, inheritance. What is money in a world like this capitalist world? You know, I'm talking about money is power. You see what I'm saying? And when your power, when your ego and authority, when your authority is all over somebody else's power, it's like, how can I balance the budget with this moon in second opposite the sun in eighth? It's going to be a time where you feel like you're going to have to be responsible, or you may take responsibility for other people's possessions, other people's estates, just general things involving other people. Or you may yourself be under the thumb of other people per the debts that you have, or the secrets that you have, or that they know that you, the secrets that they know about you, right? And so it's going to be a time to learn how to integrate your desires with what you have been assigned to do, or what you are capable of doing at this time. Yeah, I'm glad some people enjoy me rambling, y'all. A lot of people do, apparently. But we're gonna go to Libra risings. I am putting this together. Where is my Libra lunar eclipse? Okay, there we go. All right. Libra risings. So this is like the Aries situation, but reversed. When the sun is transiting the seventh house, it's like you derive your power from or among other people, or your power, it creates sociability among people, but it also creates a need to have these intimate personal connections with other people. You may desire harmony among within yourself, but you also feel this need or this invitation to take control when it comes to other people. And you also have to be aware of aggressive enemies at this time too, because remember, seventh house is the house of open enemies. So take the Aries significations and flip them on their head, right? Moon and Libra, first house, that's an inner desire for harmony. You don't want no conflicts or nothing like that. But right now, you might be better at making conflict than you think you are. And also, you might be better at going out and establishing yourself as a passionate individual among other people than you might think you are. The possibilities are limitless, and Aries and Libra risings are going to feel this most strongly, since this is all taking place on their first and seventh axis. I will say that cardinal signs, just buckle up, man. Cardinal signs, this is going to be a fun experience. And we're going to move on to Scorpio. Scorps, where y'all at? Y'all can come out the woodwork now, Scorpio. Ain't nobody out here trying to squish y'all bugs. Scorpions down there clacking their claws at people and whatnot. Ain't nobody finna try to get you now. We playing mind our own business simulator. Scorpio risings. Sun in Aries, 6th house. Moon in Libra, 12th house. You might feel very charged to go ahead and get a whole bunch of work done at this time. Beware of headaches and inflammation, by the way. Be very careful about that. But you're going to be very active, getting a whole bunch of work done, doing a whole bunch of busy work, bunch of chores. But you have to be careful not to neglect your own emotional. I don't know why it tries to do that. You have to be careful to not neglect your own emotional needs, because with your moon in 12th, especially with Venus and Pisces ruling, you might not even know what your own emotional needs are right now, and it can be very easy to slip back into um, a nebulous sense of depression because your needs are not getting met, and you don't know why they aren't getting met, and you don't know why you're feeling what you're feeling. But that moon is in the 12th house, just catching rays of feelings from all over the place, which you gotta be a little bit careful about there. That's what I have for you all. And we're gonna go to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, where y'all at? Let's get your chart pulled up. If I can find the thing, let's go. All right, Sagittarians. I swear I'm just trying to let the universe take the wheel right now. I hope that this all work out. I don't know why I thought that as soon as I pulled this up, but there you go. Sun in Aries, 5th house. Out there being party boys, party girls. You know what I'm saying? Party boys and city girls out there trying to have you some fun. Also, I have heard, now this is just purely anecdotal, but I have heard about uh Sun in 5th house people being providers of fun, but they've also seen some sugar, honey, iced tea, if you know what I mean. So with the Sun in Aries in the 5th house in transit, you know how to get the party started, but at the same time, you're trying to make sure that the party doesn't turn into a brawl. So at this time, you're trying to balance the initiative that you're being encouraged to take when it comes to starting fun with making sure that the people who are involved in the fun having are also operating on a harmonious level. And you're having a desire to unify, you're having a desire to build these awesome, harmonious social relationships with people. You're looking for a group of friends that look good, act good, feel good, smell good. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. Now, let's get on to them Capricorns. Capricorns, come out the Capricorner. Stop acting Capricorny. Know what I'm saying? I don't. Now, Sun in Aries in the 4th house. As I mentioned, the 4th house is the house of hidden things. So people may not, when you have Sun in Aries in the 4th house by transit, people may not notice the fact that, also, by the way, disregard what I said earlier about the aspect not being exact, because look how exact that is. 5 degrees, 5 degrees. It's there. It's there. Sun in Aries, 4th house people may not necessarily see how angry you really are about a bunch of things, or they may not see how capable you are of initiating, but it is readily available. And people who are able to get close to you in private settings or in familial settings will be able to see just how much initiative you are able to take, or just how much excitement that you are able to produce. But right now, your desires lay upon making sure that you look good for the general public. You know what I'm saying? You want to see your public reputation be done well. And also, from a Placidian perspective, you might encounter a 9th house, 3rd house option, a 9th house, 3rd house type deal where, from a Placidus perspective, your sun is in the 3rd house and your moon is in the 9th house, which is where all of this Aries energy is kind of locked up in your mind, and people are seeing the Libra energy, but they don't really understand the motives behind it. Like, you might be out there learning how to harmonize or socialize among people because you're seething in your head and you're trying to find a way to seethe less and unify more. That is a possibility. 10th house, 4th house axis from whole sign. Ninth house, 3rd house axis on the Placidian level. All right, Capricorns, I'm gonna move on to the, and anytime I press the 1 button, it does it, and it's 31 minutes. I don't have any control of it. I don't know why it thinks when I press the 1 button, I want something that's at the very bottom of my. All right, listen. Aquarius risings, it's time to talk about it. Now, for Aquarians, from the from the whole sign perspective, this is a 3-9 matter. The sun and moon are actually in the houses opposite their planetary joy. And one of the reasons why they're opposite planetary joy is because when the sun is in the 9th house, that's when it's the hottest time of the day. And when the sun's in the 3rd house, that's when it's the coolest time of the day. And so with the sun in the 3rd house, as I mentioned before with the Capricorn risings from the Placidian perspective, it feels like you are very mentally charged. Like all of this Aries energy is going straight into your thoughts, is going straight into your immediate surroundings. You might have to be the person who stands out among your siblings and takes some initiative to be like, hey, we're not doing this no more. We're doing something else now. And with the moon in the 9th house, it's a matter of exploring on a philosophical level and exploring on an abstract educational level, exploring other people's minds so you can get an understanding of what makes people tick, both in the right way and the wrong way. So you can understand, oh no, I might not should do that, or I might should do this. You know what I'm saying? Learning about the harmony. This could actually be a very interesting time. If you're an Aquarius rising right now, you may if this is a very specific, oh my goodness. This is a very specific case, but if you are an Aquarius rising and previously you had gone to school or had desires to go to school for some form of criminal justice or law or cosmetology, funny how that works out, right? You might be feeling those desires crop up again. And so you might be cooking up some schemes about how you can actually get back to that. If there is any Aquarius rising out there who that message works for, please get back to me and let me know I'm on to something. All right, thank you very much. And we're going to go to our Pisces risings now. Pisces risings, that is a very rare rising. I'm just going to say 3420 because I ain't pressing that 1 button again. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Okay, so if I press the 1 button up top, it does fine. I just can't press it on the numpad. Cool. All right. Pisces rising. What do we got here? So this is the opposite of Virgo. This is the 2nd house, 8th house axis. So Pisces rising, you're like, I'm trying to get my own money right now. Y'all Pisces rising is trying to get your own money right now. But you have to be careful because your ability to get your own money or get your own things for yourself might be stopped by that moon in 8th house. If there's one thing I've noticed about the moon in 8th is that it sort of lingers over a person's head, kind of like a slanted sword of Damocles. It can make you feel like, oh, I have to tone down this, that, and the other to make other people feel better, because if other people don't feel better, I'm not going to feel better. You have to be careful about that moon in Libra in 8th house, because you could feel like you're always trying to please other people. But it's like, what about you? You might be delving back into bad habits if you aren't careful with that moon in 8th house. You might leave your emotional well-being in somebody else's hands. You have to be careful about codependent relationships with that moon in that eighth house, or dealing with narcissistic individuals, which, by the way, I can't diagnose them, but I'm not no licensed medical professional. So take that word narcissistic with a grain of salt. You know, you can't take that to the court of the bank when when I say that you might be dealing with some narcissists. But you can take a look at the significations of the moon in the eighth house and see that that's definitely there. Because when your moon is in the eighth house, it's in somebody else's hands. You know what I mean? And it's in probably one of the most challenging places to have the moon in somebody else's hands, the house of death, sex, and taxes, and the house of dirt that they got on you. So just keep that in mind while you're trying to get your own thing. Be careful that other people don't hold so much power over you that you can't get what you want. With that being said, I'm about to release this thing on YouTube, y'all, and I'm about to see where this goes. But I am really sorry that I did not take more time to, or that I just didn't have more time at my disposal to like make this a better presentation than what it is. But I hope that you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all again sometime.